Every business needs money to operate and grow. These expenses are mainly divided into two categories: capital expenditure, called CapEx, and operational expenditure, called OpEx. CapEx refers to investments in long-term assets. These are assets that provide value for many years. For example, buying a building or purchasing servers. OpEx, on the other hand, includes daily expenses required to run the business. These are recurring costs like rent, electricity, salaries, and cloud subscriptions. Let's take simple examples. If a company buys an office building, it is CapEx. But if the same company rents an office, it becomes OpEx. Similarly, buying servers is CapEx, while using cloud services is OpEx. Understanding this difference helps companies manage their budget effectively and choose the right financial strategy. What is CapEx, capital expenditure? Capital expenditure, or CapEx, is the money a company spends on purchasing or upgrading long-term assets. These assets are not consumed immediately but are used for many years. CapEx usually requires a high upfront investment. For example, building an office or purchasing servers requires a large amount of money at once. One key point is ownership. When a company spends on CapEx, it owns the asset completely. That means the company is responsible for maintenance, repairs, and upgrades. Let's look at examples. Buying land or constructing a building is CapEx. Purchasing servers, laptops, and networking devices also falls under CapEx. Setting up a data center is another major example. Even buying office furniture like desks and chairs is considered CapEx. While CapEx gives full control, it also comes with high cost and responsibility. What is OpEx, operational expenditure? Operational expenditure, or OpEx, includes all the day-to-day expenses required to run a business smoothly. These costs are recurring and occur regularly. Unlike CapEx, OpEx does not involve ownership. Instead, companies pay for usage or services. One of the biggest advantages of OpEx is flexibility. Companies can increase or decrease usage based on their needs. Let's see some examples. Paying office rent is OpEx. Employee salaries are also part of OpEx. Utility bills like electricity and internet are daily operational costs. In modern IT, cloud services like AWS and Azure are perfect examples of OpEx. Companies pay only for the resources they use. This makes OpEx a preferred model for many businesses today. CapEx versus OpEx. Key differences. Now let's clearly understand the differences between CapEx and OpEx. CapEx is about ownership, while OpEx is about subscription or renting. In CapEx, companies invest a large amount upfront. In OpEx, they pay small amounts regularly. CapEx is less flexible because once you invest, you are committed. OpEx is highly flexible because you can scale up or down anytime. Another difference is maintenance. In CapEx, the company is responsible for everything. In OpEx, the service provider handles maintenance. Let's understand with examples. Buying a server is CapEx, while using cloud services is OpEx. Buying an office is CapEx, renting is OpEx. Owning a car is CapEx, using a cab service is OpEx. Buying software is CapEx, subscribing to software is OpEx. These comparisons make it easy to understand the concept. Real-time IT and cloud example. Let's understand a real-time example from IT industry. Earlier, companies used traditional IT infrastructure. They had to buy servers, storage, and networking equipment. This required huge CapEx investment. For example, setting up a data center involves building infrastructure, buying hardware, and hiring staff. This is a CapEx model. Now, with cloud computing, companies use OpEx model. Instead of buying servers, they use services like AWS EC2. Instead of buying storage, they use cloud storage. Companies no longer need to hire large maintenance teams because cloud providers manage everything. This shift from CapEx to OpEx helps companies reduce costs, improve flexibility, and scale faster. Conclusion. To conclude, both CapEx and OpEx play important roles in business operations. CapEx is suitable for long-term investments where ownership is required. OpEx is ideal for daily operations and flexibility. Today, many companies, especially startups, prefer OpEx because it reduces initial investment and risk. Large companies may still use CapEx for better control. In many cases, businesses use a combination of both models. The decision depends on budget, business goals, and growth strategy. Understanding these concepts is very important, especially for IT professionals working in cloud and infrastructure domains. In today's modern IT world, cloud platforms like Amazon Web Services, Microsoft Azure, and Google Cloud Platform play a major role in transforming how businesses spend money. Traditionally, companies followed a CapEx model. They had to invest huge amounts of money to build their own infrastructure. This includes buying servers, setting up data centers, purchasing storage devices, and hiring large IT teams. All of this required heavy upfront investment. But with the introduction of cloud computing, this model has completely changed. Now, instead of investing in physical infrastructure, companies can simply use cloud services. This shifts the spending from CapEx to OpEx. Let's understand this clearly. When a company uses AWS, Azure, or GCP, they don't need to buy servers anymore. Instead, they can launch virtual machines in minutes. For example, AWS EC2, Azure Virtual Machines, or GCP Compute Engine. This means there is no upfront cost. Companies only pay for what they use. This is called the pay-as-you-go model, which is a core part of OpEx. Similarly, for storage, companies don't need to buy hard drives or storage systems. They can use cloud storage services like Amazon S3, Azure Blob Storage, or GCP Cloud Storage. Another important point is maintenance. In a CapEx model, companies are responsible for maintaining hardware, upgrading systems, and handling failures. But in cloud platforms, all these responsibilities are handled by the cloud provider. This reduces operational burden and allows companies to focus on business growth instead of infrastructure management. Let's take a real-world example. If a startup wants to build an application, earlier they needed lakhs of rupees to set up infrastructure. Today, they can start with zero infrastructure cost using cloud platforms and scale as their business grows. This is why startups and even large enterprises are moving towards cloud-based OpEx models. However, it's important to understand that cloud doesn't completely eliminate CapEx. Cloud providers themselves invest heavily in infrastructure, but for customers, it is always presented as an OpEx model. In conclusion, AWS, Azure, and GCP are the main drivers of the shift from CapEx to OpEx. They provide flexibility, scalability, cost efficiency, and faster innovation. That is why cloud computing has become the backbone of modern IT infrastructure.